Hello everyone. We are going to start with videos of grade 11th from here. Continue, I would say, not start, because on the channel two units have already been covered. If you are doing those units in your syllabus, please start with those. Diversity I have covered, cell biomolecules I have covered. So you can start, click on those playlists and start with them. I am going to start with unit 5 from this video on, starting chapter breathing and exchange of gases. So we'll take up all the chapters one after the other. Now herein the chapters which we are going to do in these videos are according to your NEET preparation. They are extensive. The topics might not be there in your NCERT or extensively given in your NCERT or your ISC books. So this is according to your NEET preparation. Plus I'll be uploading shorts, NEET shorts. That is, for example, breathing and respiration we are doing here. So whatever important topics which are, they short come in NEET exams, I'll be taking up chota karke clippings of those. Please watch those also. They'll be helping you for your NEET preparation. So without any further delay, we are going to start with the chapter breathing and exchange of gases. Let's have our pens and pencils and notebooks ready. Now starting up with breathing and respiration, the first thing which we must know is about respiration. Now here we are going to talk about breathing as well as exchange of gases. When the exchange has taken place, the final product or the process taking place in the body to release energy is respiration. Let's discuss about that and the various important characteristic features required for that, and then we'll move further. First of all, what is respiration? This is kind of a repetition, but please listen carefully because we are going to talk about it thoda sa elaborately. Respiration is, what is respiration? Whenever glucose is broken down or the respiratory fuel, if we say, is broken down to release energy. So we can say that whenever glucose, it is broken down to release energy, it's called as respiration. Now respiration can be further categorized into two types. Now you can say this division of respiration can be one division, types of respiration, two division, type of respiration, as in, how do you say? If I say respiration is further divided into first type of division, where we say that it's divided into aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and the second type of division where we say that respiration can be direct and it can be indirect. So we'll talk about both. Let's start with aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the type of respiration in which oxygen molecules are required for the, or it happens or occurs in the presence of oxygen. When it takes place in the presence of oxygen, I'll just quickly, I am just giving you a brief of this. In further, when we do this in grade 12th, you will be talking about the various steps like glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and so on and so forth. I'll give you a gist of all the steps which take place when the final result of energy, that is ATP, is produced. So what do we have here? C6H12O6, that is glucose molecule. In the presence of oxygen, it is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. It is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. How much energy? It is 38 ATP molecules. Now out of these 38 ATP molecules, only 36 ATP molecules are used. 2 ATP molecules will be used in the steps which I'll be just briefing you here. So let's see what happens during the process of respiration. The first step which takes place is glycolysis. Now in the process of glycolysis, this glucose molecule is broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvate. This is first step. So glucose is broken into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, or what we call as pyruvate also, which you've done in grade 10. Second step would be wherein these 2 pyruvic acid molecules will be converted into coenzyme A. This is known as a link reaction, wherein 2 pyruvic acid molecules form coenzyme A. Fine. Then we have acetyl coenzyme A. Sorry. Now, after this we have Krebs cycle. wherein this acetyl coenzyme A, it is converted or it is broken down to release carbon dioxide. Fourth step would be ETC, that is electron transport chain, wherein a chain reaction of further transfer of electrons. And the last one is oxidative phosphorylation. That is formation of ATPs finally. Formation of ATPs, which is the final step. So these are the various steps which will finally lead to production of these 38 molecules of ATP. We involve glycolysis, link reaction, Krebs cycle, ETC, and oxidative phosphorylation. Now in this, how many molecules are formed? 38 ATP molecules are formed, but during this course of the whole process taking place, out of these 38, only 36 ATP molecules are given into the body. The rest 2 ATP molecules are used up in the process only. So this is how aerobic respiration takes place. Let's now talk about anaerobic respiration. We all know the type of respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. Matlab, herein no oxygen is required. Now this aerobic respiration, we do this under 2 special conditions. The first one would be wherein it occurs in yeast, where we call it fermentation also. So what happens here? Here no oxygen is required. What happens generally, this glucose molecule, it itself starts breaking down and forming the result. So let's see. C6H12O6, it breaks down to form first of all pyruvic acid, and which further leads to formation of ethanol, and plus 2 ATP energy. Now number of molecules which are formed here in aerobic are 38, but in case of anaerobic 2 ATP molecules are formed, and this is happening, or this takes place in, this takes place in yeast. So oxygen forms pyruvic acid, then ethanol and 2 ATP. Herein some amount of CO2 is also released out. Then when we talk about anaerobic respiration taking place in muscles, when does it happen? When the muscles are extensively fatigued, they are tired, or they are working a lot under a lot of stress. So the second one is in muscles. The same thing happens, but this glucose is formed into pyruvic acid again and forms lactic acid now. So this is how the process of anaerobic respiration takes place in yeast as well as muscles, or the muscles which are extensively working. Now the characteristics of anaerobic respiration are: 1, only 2 molecules of ATP are formed, and 2, incomplete breakdown of glucose take place. Kyun? Because when glucose will be broken down, it has to form ATP molecules, but herein it is breaking down, but ethanol and lactic acid is being formed, and very less amount of ATP. Here also 2 ATP is formed. So that is a vast difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Let's talk about direct and indirect respiration now. Direct respiration, under this, the body or body cells of the organism are in direct contact with the air or oxygen rich air. That means it takes place by direct contact. For example, in amoeba occurs when cells are in direct contact. For example, amoeba, unicellular organisms. And indirect contact, wherein the body cells are not in directly contact, there are tissues, then organs and organ system. Like in humans, there is a complete respiratory system or a tract which leads to the process of respiration, or which leads to completion of the process of respiration. So this direct contact, it occurs in amoeba, for that matter in skin, cutaneous respiration also, in frogs and earthworm also direct contact is there, whereas indirect is in all high order organisms. Hope this is clear till here. I'm going to erase the board and I'm going to start with the next topic, that is the various steps which are involved for the process of respiration. So let's see what are the steps involved in the process of respiration. I'll leave the main thing. Okay, so main steps of respiration. Now, what is the sequence or the steps? The first one would be wherein the air is taken inside or a breath inside the body. So the first step would be taking in air or breathing. Breathing, we also call this ventilating. Second step, after we have breathed in oxygen, that those oxygen molecules, or you can say exchange of gases, take place in the alveoli. So the second step, exchange of gases in, from लिख सकते हैं alveoli to blood. After that, blood now takes those gases throughout the body. So transportation. Transportation via blood. Transportation of what? The gases. Then blood takes those gases to the tissues, wherein exchange takes place between blood and tissues. Exchange of gases via blood to tissues. And the last step would be wherein inside the tissues mitochondria releases energy. So last step would be release of energy. These are the various steps of respiration. Occur in a sequence. Breathing takes place, oxygen taken in, exchange of gases from alveoli into the blood, transportation of the blood to the tissues, matlab transportation of gases via blood, exchange of gases between blood and tissues, and finally release of energy inside the mitochondria. So this is all about this topic which we have covered here. In our next video, we'll be taking up the various requirements of for the process of respiration, the various pigments which are required for the process of transport of substances. So this will be taken up in our next video. So keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you.